To Chosen Price Chats. I'm here today with Richard Parrott. Richard, thank you for coming on. Probably one of the coolest, most diligent collectors I know, and he's all about Fortnite and sports. I'm excited to have my first Fortnite guest on. It's cards I've been interested in since I heard about them back in like 2021. But how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, and I just want to say thank you for having me on, and I'm honored to be your first Fortnite guest on your channel.
Oh yeah, man. I couldn't think of anyone better. I mean, honestly, everyone in the Fortnite community I've met on Instagram is just incredible. Everyone just loves the cards, is super passionate about it. But yeah, definitely excited for you to be the first.
All right, yeah, and like you said, everyone you meet on Instagram is all really nice people, is what I've seen too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to get right into it, when did you start collecting cards in general? Because I know you got some sports cards as well. Where'd you start out?
So I first started collecting sports cards in 2014 when I was around 8 to 9 years old, and just opening packs I got from Target. Topps football, Topps baseball, just back then. And then I didn't really do anything for a couple of years, and I really got into it heavy in 2017. Just opening 2017 Prism Blasters is what I was mainly doing back then. And then I've been into it ever since. And then I'd heard about Fortnite cards around like 2021, and I didn't do anything with them until about 2022, and that's when I started getting into it. And it took a couple months when I started mainly focusing on Fortnite cards compared to sports. And I just typically do sports to flip and make money so I can fund my Fortnite card collection.
Dude, heck yeah, that's super smart. I mean, how did you I guess first get introduced to Fortnite cards?
So I'd always played the game. I've been playing the game since I think it was either late season 2 or early season 3. I can't quite remember, but
Mhm.
and just playing the game and collecting cards. I guess eventually I ended up seeing a post on Instagram about them. I think it was when Series 2 released. I looked at some of the cards, and I actually grabbed two base cards off eBay back in 2021, and that was one thing I did back then. And I just forgot about them, and then I got back into it pretty heavy back in 2022.
Nice, nice. So, how did you start like gathering knowledge, I guess, on Fortnite cards? Because it's not like it took me a bit to kind of put the pieces together of what was rare, what was not so rare, stuff like that. How did you go about getting that knowledge?
So luckily, as you could think of this as a negative or positive, I wasn't an early adapter to Fortnite cards. I came in a little bit later, and there was a
Hmm.
decent amount of content out there on YouTube, Instagram, and there's also a Facebook group that I'm not a part of, but I heard there's a lot of good information in there. But like taking high ground on YouTube, Rob and Dylan, they helped me so much on learning about Fortnite cards, starting my YouTube channel, and we partnered together to make content. And there's also Eduardo on Let's Collect Together on YouTube, who talks a lot about Fortnite cards, and Western cards. Those are all great content creators that talk about Fortnite on YouTube, and that's pretty much what helped me get started.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so they kind of blew up in price, and I haven't really dipped much into Series One because of that. I have my cards. Well, I have Drift, which is like the skin I used when I was playing Fortnite more back in like 2018, 2019. But I haven't really touched Series One much. But you got you ended up getting 18 Series One shards by the time you were 18. Can you just elaborate on kind of what that means or what the shard cards are for Fortnite?
Well, I, I kind of hate to correct you on this, but I didn't actually. I was not able to complete that. I was stuck at
Oh
15.
no.
I'm still stuck at 15. I turned 18 a couple months ago, but 15 is still a pretty good number for crystal shards, and those are
Absolutely.
definitely some of the hardest cards to get, especially in PSA 10. And you really got to shell out some money sometimes if you want to get them. I
Yeah,
mean,
yes.
you want me to start showing some
Absolutely.
of them off?
Yeah, let's see some of the shards you got, and if you could just kind of
Yeah.
elaborate why you chose that specific one, because or the shards you do have to add
All
at
right.
this point.
So the first one, let me know if you can see the cards. All right, but I got the first one I have is Deadfire in a PSA 10. This wasn't the first
Oh
shard I
yeah.
got, but this is my most valuable one. It's the last raw sale was $538 on this card, and
Oof.
this was the second most money I ever paid for a Fortnite card. I bought it raw on eBay, graded it into a PSA 10, and this is
Awesome.
one I'm really happy to have. And I wanted to go after Deadfire because I actually use them in game, and also the aesthetic on the card, the purple with the green background, I think looks really nice and has this really nice shine to it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
purple and green is one of my favorite color combos. That is a gorgeous card.
See what else. So this is the one I've spent the most money for, which is the Visitor Crystal Shard PSA 9. I bought it raw actually at the National, and I graded it. Now this one was for a set I was working on for Fortnite cards. It was all the Fortnite secret skins, and there's 9 of them, and I was able to complete the set, getting them all in USA Crystal Shards or Cracked Ice. And the Visitor was the most expensive one out of that group, so I really had to shell out money to get this one to complete the set.
Nice.
Now this was the first shard I bought, which was Moth Mando. I bought him for about $120, and I bought him raw. I was able to get him in a PSA 10, which is pretty cool to me because these cards are not easy to grade. So getting the very first one I owned at a PSA 10 is pretty cool to me.
Absolutely.
Just kind of going through to see which ones that will have the best story to them. This one, my Moisty Merman. This is my favorite card that I own. This is my PC card. I wear them in game every day, and pretty much the only skin that I wear. And this one paid around $264 after tax and shipping, and ended up grading a 7. But for Fortnite cards, especially with the crystal shards, you don't gotta. If you should not be worrying about condition because they're so rare. And as long as the front's not messed up, the back really doesn't matter. Because this one, there's corner damage on it, but the front still looks just as good as a PSA 10 would. So it doesn't really matter to me. It's just having the card in the crystal shard parallel. And speaking on the low conditions, like right here, I have a 5. I bought this raw, graded it, and this was one I didn't personally use the skin in game, but my friend did it, so I wanted it for the personal collection. And then right here, I have a PSA 3 crystal shard. The conditions shouldn't matter with these cards unless, like I said, it's messed up the front real bad. That's pretty much what I've learned for Fortnite. Go after the
Yeah.
grade. I mean, don't go after the grade. Go after the card.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like can you like I guess elaborate on where you actually get the crystal shards from and why it might be a little harder to grade these cards?
So the way you got the crystal shards was back in 2019 Fortnite released their first set, and the mega boxes were at Target. I actually have, it's not sealed, but it still has the wrapping on it on what they looked like. They look like this, and this is
Sick.
the USA version because it has the panini wrapping on it, and those ones had the crystal shards in it. The USA versions, which was the ones where I'm holding up, I think I have an Italy right by me. I can show you the differences. Yeah, so this is what in Italy looks like. You can see it's got a different design, but for the USA, they came in a silver colored pack, like you couldn't see through it. 2 crystal shards per mega box, and there's estimated between like 75 and 125 crystal shards per card. But that number is always fluctuating depending on how many we see pop up in a certain amount of time on eBay or for sale, just in general. So people don't know the actual print run, but this estimated between 75 and 125. And if you look at the pop report, it's not that high. I think the most highest graded one is Black Knight. The most expensive one, I think he's right around 50 graded. And then there's others that there's like 10 graded, there's 12 graded. That's just because they're not as valuable. But getting the crystal shards was pretty hard to find because there's what I think 1,800 targets back in 2019, and each target got at most 6 mega boxes, and that's at the very high end. There was some that only got 1, some that only got 2, and then also why condition isn't a big deal. Like I have a PSA 3 right here. This was definitely pulled by a kid, and he just played with it and didn't know what it was worth or the potential value of this card. And that's what also some of these cards were definitely destroyed, thrown away, and that's also what makes them rare. So whatever the actual print run is, the number out there will be lower than that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had one of my buddies who's actually on here, Code Card. He reached out to me one time after I posted a card, and he was like, "Oh, my son's got a Peely. Is that a good card?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, dude, that's like one of the best cards in base set, like or in Series One."
Yeah,
And so who knows how much like his son may have played with that card or what have you. So yeah, already a pretty low number, and then take that into them being Fortnite cards and it being like super popular with kids. A lot of them got played with probably.
oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess how was your experience? You know, you've showed some lower grades, but how was your experience with grading? Do you ever get like grades you don't expect, or is it pretty much like the condition you see is pretty visible with Fortnite cards?
With Fortnite, I'd say they're pretty visible, and you can just tell by looking at them. I think the only grade I ever got that surprised me was this card getting a 9. It's so perfect to me. All the corners, the surface. I thought this card was a PSA 10, but then it's like this 5 I graded personally. It actually came
Hmm.
back higher than I expected. I thought it was going to get a 2 or 3 because it's peeling up on the surface in a bottom corner.
Oh wow.
And then I have another card. This one, it's in a PSA 5. I submitted this. I cracked this out of an SGC 4 holder, and
Oh.
I upgraded it, which was surprising because I thought it was going to go down because this card is pretty beat up. It's got wrinkles on the back and corner damage. But
Oh
I feel
wow.
like Fortnite cards grade pretty strong just overall. Like they don't get ones and twos like like some of these like this one I have a 3. If this was a sports
Hmm.
card, I'd feel like this would get a 1 or a 2 just based off my experiences with sports. But then they're really hard to get gems in. Like I have 2 PSA 10s out of the 15 that I own, and all 15 of mine are graded. And only owning 2 PSA 10s is I just says it for itself right there. 2 out of the 15 that I own are PSA 10s.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I guess even you know even cards like Black Knight with only 50 graded. How many of those are tens? And that's the most graded card if you happen to know off the top of your head.
I believe I think there's 10 total PSA 10s out there right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. That
So oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's right around a $36,000 card was the last public sale of that, and there's been private sales upwards of 50,000 on that card.
Can you hear me now? All
Yeah, I
right,
can hear you.
perfect. Yeah, what was that site? I gotta start using that from now on. This is crazy.
All right,
But
it's called Streamyard if you want to know.
all right, StreamYard. But yeah, if you wouldn't mind educating me, I know the skins come in sets. Like you posted up Midas's whole crew the other day. I'm
Yeah,
really not that well versed in like the Fortnite lore and stuff like that. So can you just like run me through what set you're collecting now and kind of some of I guess the more important story skins you could look for?
yeah. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is what's going on currently, and that's the Midas storyline. So I'll pull out some of the Midas related cards I recently grabbed because of
Nice.
now he was important back in the storyline about 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, and he was on the island as an NPC, and he ended up. So I can go really in depth on this. It'd be a while, but basically he wanted to. So in Fortnite, there's something called the loop, and that's the game with all 100 players on the island, and then it resets after one player's left as the storm closes. And Midas wanted to break the loop and change that cycle because he was trapped in it, and he wanted to go against the Imagined Order, which was an organization that kept the loop going and the storm closing and kept that cycle repeating. And there was a live event in Chapter 2, Season 2, and that's when the live event was Midas trying to stop the storm from closing and stop the loop. And it worked, but then it ended up causing like a flood on the Fortnite island, and Midas was eaten by a shark. And it took about 4 years for Midas to finally make his way back into the storyline, which now he's back and he's on the island again. And a lot of his team is back too, like skins like Brutus and TNTina, Sky, and I'm missing the last one. And then another one is Meowscles. I'm not sure where I put that card at, but that's one of the other ones. And obviously, of course, Midas. This is his reloaded card. This is technically his true rookie card, but he's also in Series 3. And that's like the main storyline going right now for Fortnite is the Midas and his crew storyline. And there was other stories in the past, like the Seven and the Fox Clan, which is what you were talking about, Drift. He's involved in that. But with Donald Mustard leaving Fortnite as their creative, the chief of creative, whatever it was called, I forgot the exact title, but he basically wrote the storyline. And
Hmm.
him leaving, you don't really know what's going to be important now. So going back and looking at the past storyline, it's just all speculative now to see what will be important in the future. Other than Midas, that's pretty much set in stone because Charlie Wen, the new creative director of Fortnite, he brought Midas back pretty much as soon as he was in charge again. So far right now, Midas is the most like the safest play if you're going to want to invest in the Fortnite storyline. That'd be your safest bet right now.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So I guess for my own curiosity, I know Sky has like a relationship with or is kind of related with Guff, right? So is
Yeah,
Guff
yep.
part of Midas's crew?
I mean, not necessarily, but I guess there's an outside chance it could be. but Sky was definitely more involved because she was on the island as an NPC along with Midas that season, and she had her own mythic weapon like Midas. But Guff didn't really have that. But yeah, you are right on that. Sky is related to Guff. I just don't know if Guff is actually involved in Midas's team like that.
Oh, okay. Nice, nice. So, I guess what would you say about like Fortnite bringing in third party, I guess you could call them, or licensing other IPs. Like, do you like when Fortnite brings in skins like from Marvel or like, football players, stuff like that? Do you think that's interesting or
I think it's cool. I think it's good for growing the game. And if you follow the comics, Marvel actually made Fortnite canon in Marvel, and Fortnite has made Marvel canon in Fortnite. So they're kind of working off each other and building a story with both of them in the comics and also sometimes in game for Fortnite. So I think it's good and help grow Fortnite, get it more exposure to the Marvel fans. And obviously Marvel's much bigger than Fortnite, but even Fortnite could maybe help grow Marvel, but it's obviously Marvel is helping grow Fortnite a lot. And I think that's definitely good. And then even like you said, bringing in football players, like when they brought in Patrick Mahomes, maybe there's sports fans that never really played Fortnite before, but that got them to get out to get the game and buy the skin. And now maybe they really enjoy the game. I think it's good when they do that. And I mean, there's been collabs I'm not a fan of, but I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing anything in as long as it helps grow the game.
for sure? Yeah, I'm I haven't played, well, I played when it first came out for a few years, and then I took a pretty long break basically until the beginning of chapter 4. And then I got back into it and I was like, oh my gosh, what are all these characters? But I really loved it. And so I'm always interested to see what people think, what other players think about just all the licenses they brought in and all the IPs they brought in. But um, so what for sports cards, I guess, what do you look for when you said you mostly flip them? So what do you look for when you're buying a sports card to that you're looking to flip or try to help grow your collection with?
So if I'm just looking for a sports card to flip, the first thing I look for is liquidity. Is there? I look for a card that has a lot of comps on eBay. It's selling for, say, I mean, card that I sold recently. I'm just trying to think. Was I sold a Mike Trout gold refractor from 2020 finest in a PSA 9. Now that card hasn't comped since 2021 was the last time it comped. I had a sticker to the last comp. That was a hard sell. That was not an easy card to sell. But then I had a 2017 Optic Alvin Kamara pink, and that card comps all day between $5 and $6. There's like 30 comps on eBay. That card sold right away for me. So it's
Hmm.
just liquidity. Now, not always. You'd think obviously the rarity, they don't see the card, they want it, but it's something you don't see every day. People might have more demand, but that doesn't necessarily always happen. And sometimes a card transacting a lot on eBay gets it more exposure. People want the card more because they've seen it more, and that's just something I've noticed in just flipping. But then, like when I want to go buy a card for my collection, I look for scarcity. Like some of my favorite cards, I own one Prism Black Finite, I own a couple Gold Prisms, and that's the kind of stuff that I like to personally collect for sports.
And then I guess the stuff you do PC, are those players that you're pretty invested in or from teams that are some of your favorites, or I guess, or is it just the scarcity that you really like about these cards?
So my most expensive sports card I ever bought was a 2016 Prism Teddy Bridgewater Black Finite 101. And Teddy Bridgewater, now he's not a great player, but when he did, and he was pretty injury prone, but when he did play, I really enjoyed his play style, and I just liked the way he played. He was pretty mobile and he's able to throw the ball pretty good, like throw it deep. And I enjoyed watching him play, even though he was on the Vikings for most of his career, and I'm a Patriots fan. I still enjoyed watching Teddy Bridgewater play, so I bought that really nice card to him.
Nice. All right. Yeah, that's awesome. And so I guess a little away from collecting, the last few reels you put up, you're pretty young, but you got MF Doom going in your reels. How did you get into MF Doom?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I love MF Doom, man. I love his music.
Yeah.
I just had a friend. He's about my age. I've known him since elementary school, and he put me on a couple years ago.
Heck yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I love it. Every time I see your reels, I'm like, oh yeah, we got something good playing now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate you
Heck
saying
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Always it's always interesting to me, because I'm 27 and I've barely heard of MF. I feel like I'm barely old enough to hear from MF Doom, so to hear it going on 18-year-olds, gives me hope for the future of of music
Yeah,
fans.
yeah.
But so I guess for people who are watching, Fortnite is done. Panini no longer has is able to make Fortnite cards. Do you think that anybody's gonna pick up Fortnite cards in the future, Richard, or are you thinking that Series 1, 2, 3, and Reloaded are what we're sticking with?
Well, actually, if you go to Fanatics' website, one of the Fortnite is on Fanatics' website right now, and
Ooh,
yeah, so it looks like Fanatics might be releasing Fortnite cards sometime soon. Obviously, this isn't a guarantee, but
for
it's
sure.
there's definitely potential. And Dylan Clifton from Taking High Ground, he emailed someone, I forgot who it was, but they confirmed that it's not over for Fortnite cards and they will be printed again by somebody. And
Ooh, that is awesome.
I do want to show this. So obviously, Tops and Fanatics has bought out Tops, and that's going to be changing soon. And the first technically Tops Fortnite card was released in a Garbage
Oh
Pail
my
Kid set
gosh.
the other day, and I think this is pretty cool. I had to grab it because I'm also a Garbage Pail Kid collector too, and the first Tops Fortnite card technically.
Oh yeah, the Jonesy. What is the garbage pail part of him? I know he's Jonesy, but
It's called Jonesing Jonesy. I don't know what that really means.
Jonesy, Jonesy. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
pretty cool card though, and I think I paid
Oh yeah.
around for it, so not bad.
Heck yeah. I guess draws you into the garbage pail kids?
I'm not really sure. Maybe just some of the names there I found funny and the artwork I liked. And I only have one really nice Garbage Pail Kid. It's from the 1986, one of the 1986 sets. Repaired Rex. I have him in a PSA 10. And what's funny about that is I
Ooh.
went back and I bought some of the old packs. I believe he was from original Series 5. And I bought some of the wax packs and I pulled them and I graded them in a PSA 10.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's incredible. That's
And that was
awesome.
actually the very first card I ever graded.
Really? So
Yeah,
when was that when did you send your first submission in?
I believe it was 2019.
Wow. Man, you've
Yeah.
been at this longer than I have, that's for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Took me a bit to get into grading. I think my first submission I probably sent in like 2022, something like that.
Yeah, I've only been doing them on my own for a little bit. That was through a local card shop in a group submission. So you just kind of dropped them off and paid them. But yeah, I've only been submitting on my own for about a year and a half now.
Nice. So I guess I don't know if you've been to or go to many cons or shows, but have you found people that are willing to trade like sports for Fortnite or Fortnite for sports, either one?
Now, I go to a lot of card shows, sports card shows. That's how I fund a lot of my collection, like I was saying. And
Hmm.
occasionally I'll see people with Fortnite card singles, like mainly Series 3. I remember at one show, this is a local show, I saw a guy with a bunch of Series 1 just base cards for sale. I bought all his legendary and epic bases that day. But you don't see it too often in sports card shows, except for we did a Fortnite card meetup at the National last year, and that was great. I got to meet a lot of the people I've been dealing with online, buying cards from, and just talking to about Fortnite cards for the past couple of years. I got to meet them in person. That was really cool. That's like the most Fortnite I've ever seen in one room at a show before.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, the National.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess so you play every day, but you don't really post clips or anything. You never had interest in like kind of starting streaming or anything like that. That just never appeals to you.
Well, you see, if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm terrible at the game. I'm
So am
I'm
I.
I've been playing for going on 5 years, and 5 6 years. I'm terrible at the game. So
Like actually terrible or like terrible compared to professionals because I feel like I'm actually terrible.
well, it's like so I play with I like there's I've a couple clips on my Instagram of just me messing with Dylan from Taking High Ground because I killed him a couple times.
Yeah.
He's so much better than me. So I don't know. I mean, I can hold my own with a little bit with people like him, but I'm definitely nowhere near on his skill level. Just using him as a comparison.
All right, all right. when you do play, are you strictly builds or do you do builds and no builds?
I stick to builds just because that's what I've been playing for so long, and I don't feel like changing it up.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I can't do that at all. So props to y'all. Props to y'all. It's always super fun watching those clips. Like I know you follow him. Like Rice, I don't know if you watch Rice play. I think Rice has some crazy clips. I think those
Oh yeah,
are so
yeah,
fun to
he's a
watch.
big zero build guy.
Yeah, yeah. He's a big zero build guy.
hmm
Do you have like a favorite streamer or like would you ever think about getting cards signed by players?
So I respect the collectors that get their cards signed by players, but I can't do that. I can't
For
just ruin
sure.
the look of some of these beautiful cards. But I have a lot of like
Yeah.
like Black Ash Ketchum. He does that. I have a lot of respect for him, but I for him doing that, but I can't. I just couldn't do it. Like he signs. He has Series One Crystal Shards signed by guys. I could never. But I
Yeah,
respect him.
that's oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, different strokes for different people, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'd probably be on the same boat as you, but it's definitely unique and super cool and
Mhm.
yeah. What do you think about have you ever thought of collecting other Fortnite memorabilia? Like I don't know if it was Black Ash Ketchum or um Rob from Taking High Ground. Maybe they both do have like Fortnite championship tickets, stubs and
Oh yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. So from the FNCS, there's I mean not FNCS, the World Cup tickets, and there's
Yeah.
a couple of those autographed by Booga, the World Cup winner out there. I know I know Rob. I believe Rob has one. I know Black Ash has one. I don't know if you know Kari, but he has one. And yeah, those are really cool. That's something that I'd want, but I got more cards I need to get first.
For sure. So are you working towards like complete series one sets or complete sets or are there just certain like groups of cards like your Midas gang and stuff like that that you're more interested in?
So I mean, I wish I had the funds to go after a Series One like Crystal Shard set. Like Shard Knock Life. He recently completed the full PSA 10 Crystal Shard set, which was one of the craziest things ever. And I wish I had the money like that to get all the shards, but no, I just collect the shards that I like or ones I can get I think for a fair price. And like I said, the Midas set that I completed, and I'll show the one set that I completed was the 9 secret skins. So there was 3 from Series One, I believe. Oh no, there's 7 of them, not 9. 3 from Series 2 and 1 from Series 3. And the secret skins, there's one skin in every Fortnite season's battle pass that isn't revealed until midway through the season. You have to complete quests to unlock them. And at
Oh,
least back in the day, they were heavily involved in the storyline. Like I said, that was before Donald Mustard left, so there's no guarantees that they'll be involved in the storyline anymore. But I'll show those 7 cards off right now. And this was
for
probably my
sure.
behind getting the Moisty Merman Crystal Shard. This is my second biggest goal. So obviously,
Nice.
like I said, the first one is this Visitor Crystal Shard, the most money I've paid for a Fortnite card. Next one is Enforcer. This was one that I actually bought from Black Ash Ketchum. This one, Aim Crystal Shard. This was the first one I got to actually start the set off, and I had no intention of doing the set, but I haven't seen one of these pop up for a decent price since then, so I got pretty lucky. I grabbed this one. The next one is the Prisoner, the first one from Series 2, and this is one of my favorite ones just based off eye appeal and the artwork on the card. Then there's Ruin, and I don't know, he's rumored to be the Black Knight, but that's not confirmed or anything.
Hmm.
Then Singularity, and people used to think she was Paradigm, but it got revealed that she was not the Paradigm, which is one of the 7, which is one of the most important characters in the storyline, at least before Donald Mustard left. The last one, the only one in Series 3, is a Scientist, and that's the 7 cards that make up that set that you could complete of all the secret skins. And that and my Moisty Merman Crystal Shard are my favorites in my collection.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. And so recently, you've been doing a video a day. And also I'll link it in the description, but Richard has his own YouTube channel. He makes content. He's been doing it every day. He also does interviews with really awesome members of the Fortnite community, so definitely check that out. What's kind of inspired you to start like picking it up, ramping it up, trying to get something out every day?
So I was uploading probably once or twice a week for about a year, and then I uploaded my 1 year anniversary video of my channel, and after that, I just had no idea what I wanted to do next. So I didn't upload for 38 days. And I was like, all right, I got to do something about this. So since then, I've uploaded every single day, and I've been doing something called Fortnite Card of the Day, where I talk about one card from Series One, and I talk about its usage in game. So how many people use the skin in game. I talk about the PSA pop report of the Crystal Shard, and just anything else that's notable about that particular card. So that's something I've enjoyed doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think one of the things I really like about, you and a lot of other people in the Fortnite community, people are like obsessed with the data and they're obsessed with like the information, and I love that. That's one of my favorite things about, collecting in general is just the information about rarity, like, when it has an application in the game like this, the applicate like how they came into the story and stuff like that. So, and their actual card population. Admittedly, I haven't seen those, but I'm gonna have to go and watch all of them after that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. And then you talk about the data is one of the videos I uploaded recently was I compared 9 crystal shard prices that have all sold in the first quarter of 2024 compared to what they sold for back in July of 2021, because there's a big shard auction in July of 2021 worth like 50 shards sold, and 9 of those cards have sold so far in 2024, and I compared those cards, their prices from then to now, and actually some, because Fortnite cards were at their peak back then, and actually some have gone up from then to now, which is surprising.
Yeah, wow. So are these are cards that you saying 9 cards of this 50 card block, only 9 of them have like sold this year?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Interesting. And have they had sales since then, or are these like their first sales since?
there's a couple of them have shown once or twice. Once, like Deadfire, the card that I showed. So the last sale was 538. He popped up once before that in raw condition, and I bought that one. And then before that, he hadn't been seen since 2021, based off what I've heard in raw condition.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah,
if
that's
you
insanity.
like, if you see Series One or even Series Two, because Series Two are pretty hard to find in the Cracked Ice USA print. If you have a card that you have your mindset on, you have to jump on it. If you see an auction, you just got to be prepared to go for it and spend who knows what. You just got to be prepared for it and just ready to just go all in on it if you really want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I see why you're saying like the liquidity is pretty important when you're flipping a sports card because yeah, if you see that shard and you need you need that money, that card needs to
Yeah.
go quick.
I
All
need to
right.
be able to get my money up quick for those auctions.
Absolutely. Very nice. So I guess that was already a pretty good one, but for anyone interested in like dipping their toes into Fortnite, or if it's something that interests them, what would you say is a good place to start, or like a good piece of advice to start with?
So for me, when I first got in, I started with Series Three, and I was buying base cards for 50 cents on eBay just because I liked the skin. Then I started working my way to hollows, and then I was working my way back to Series Two and One. I was getting base cards, and then I started getting Series One and Two hollows. Then eventually, I bought my very first Crystal Shard, which was I spent over $100 on my first Fortnite card. That was a big one. Then my first 250 on a Fortnite card. Then my first 300. Then my first submission, which wasn't cheap. So you can either work slowly, but honestly, I think if you want to get the crystal shards, just go right for the crystal shards. Don't waste money and time on the smaller cards because you'll probably really get those in a couple months and 6 months to a year after you already got the crystal shards that you want if they popped up.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Heck yeah. And then, I think just one last question for you before probably just gonna wrap things up. But what do you think? I guess I feel like you're a big eye appeal collector. What do you think about the laser cards?
I like the laser cards, and I have a frozen laser, which I think that's a really nice looking card. I'm not sure where that is right now. I have to dig through my whole box right now to find. But I have a frozen Raven laser, and that was actually one card that I found at a sports card show. And I bought that along with the Series 3 Optichrome, and I asked the guy how much he wanted for the two. He said $5. He just wanted to get rid of them. So it's I guess something I know is I've noticed people don't know what these cards are worth, and they just don't understand it. So you can get good deals if you see them at sports card shows. You can pretty much offer anything, and these guys will take it because they just want them gone. But yeah, I do like the lasers. I and really like Midas Laser PSA 10. I think that's one of the best Fortnite cards you could have, outside of a Crystal Shard. But yeah, I definitely love the eye appeal of the lasers.
Yeah, same dude. I think they're great, and honestly, yeah. If it's just if you like rarity, scarcity, and collectibles, and just are interested in anything like that, I'd honestly suggest just go look at the pop reports, even of like Series 3. Some of these cards are just like there's either no tens or even no grades for some of these lasers and like optichromes just because it's not like a popular skin. So yeah, super interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's about all I had to ask for you today. I appreciate you taking the time to come on, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. I really enjoyed doing this, and like I said, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. You taught me a few things about Fortnite, and it was you just, you know, have such a lot of information, and I really appreciate you sharing it. Um, hoping to get more Fortnite people on here, maybe get a group discussion going sometime. But yeah, once again, appreciate your time, man. Hope you have a great rest of the day.
Hey, you too, man. Thanks again.
All right. Peace out. Thanks for
See ya.
watching, everybody.